which I kind of predicted because, you know, people have been winning with that, heel hooks in EBI, Metamorph, or not so much Metamorph, but Polaris, and these shows, heel hooks have been something that Gary Tone and Eddie Cummings, right, some other people have been dominating with these things. And so suddenly everyone, the way people normally do is they're modelling, or they want to model the move that the current champion is doing. So Marcelo Garcia does X guard, the whole planet wants to do X guard. Eddie Cummings does heel hook, the whole planet wants to do heel hook. Which is crazy. You understand that's crazy because you can just because you can model, like if you do the move that he's doing, that does not make you him. Everyone gets that? Because it seems that they don't get it. But the logic of saying if I do what he does to win, I'll be like him, is kind of like, I always think, you know, the ad, you know, where there's the ratchet set and the cardboard cut out of the girl. And you go, ratchet set, girl, I should buy that ratchet set. You don't get the girl. Just because you do the heel hook does not make you Eddie Cummings. And doesn't make you be able to win Polarises or EBIs or anything like that. So if you want to model something, what we should model is how he got to where he is with his heel hook expertise, not his current best way to do it. Which, by the way, for most, who knows who we're talking about? Eddie Cummings. What does he do? He does the same thing. It's heel hook from butterfly guard. He elevates the butterfly, inverts underneath, and basically does a scissor takedown from the bottom, and then takes the guy down. Yeah, you can do that, and I can teach that, but it's what you should do after you know leg entanglement, after you understand Ashi Garami. So you should do that first. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to do, and then if you want, at the end of the year, we will do heel hooks. We'll go reaping, and we'll do all of that. But I think we need to do. Well, I know we should do what we're going to do first. So we'll do a session tonight on basic. When I say basic, don't be put off by that term. Basic means really great foundation that you can't go wrong with. And we'll do Ashi Garami. Ashi Garami, everyone knows what that means? Ashi Garami is mostly in B2J we drop the Japanese terms, but there's some things like katakatame, henan choke, and there's a few terms that have been kept on board, and Ashi Garami is one of them. Ashi just means leg, and Garami means entanglement. And I'm going to exchange out the word entanglement for control. So leg control. And we need to learn leg control and how to get it and keep it before you do heel hooks. Just like you would probably agree, for sure, that you'd have to learn the mount and how to keep it before you learn armbars. You could just learn an armbar, but you're never going to do it if you can't get to the mount and keep it. We agree? And so the same thing, you can just learn a heel hook, but you're never going to do it unless you can get the leg controlled and entangled and keep it, and not get heel hooked in the process while you're doing that. So the leg control, and I emphasise that word control, which is a very BJJ thing, that's the bit where we're going to do tonight. And what I want to do is deliver to you the way I wish I had have learnt it, which is not the way I learnt it. I learned, technique number 18, and then number 3, and then number 6, 7, 8, and then number 1, after I've been doing it for 8 years. And then, so it's all over the shop. So what I'm doing, and probably one of my only contributions, if you like, that I make pretty regularly to the art of jiu-jitsu is this. I can look back over the 30 years of doing jiu-jitsu, and I can have a pretty good guess at how things should be. So if we want to do omoplata, I can say, I think that by doing it this way, we start doing it like that. And why would you start doing it like that? Well, I've got a rationale for that. I can explain why that's my first choice, and not just fall back to, oh, my cousin does that, or I've done that in a tournament. Who cares? I can say, this is why we should do omoplata. We starting this way, and then that, and then this, and then that. So why that order, and so forth. And I can do that with most topics. So that's something that I bring to the table, a bit of structure, a bit of what we call organisation, if you like. So I want to do that. I want to give you Ashi Garami, and outside footlock. The finish will be outside footlock. And we're going to do that in a way that's really going to give you a very solid foundation of controlling the legs. And ideally, at the end of the session where you're on board with me, you don't have to do it, but ideally it would be you're on board with the rationale. Like, why are we doing that one first and not this other end? So I'd love you to do that, and then you've got a really great foundation for going to the next thing, which is heel hooking people. Does that make sense? So in my view, there's kind of like a bare minimum of 3 big sections, if you like. Leg bars, certainly Ashi Garami. Leg bars, take it or leave it, but helps if you've done it. Ashi Garami, what we're doing tonight, and then finally heel hooks. And then there's a fourth, which is a bit more complicated, which is how those things relate to each other. Okay, connecting them all up. But you don't want to do that until you've done each one separately, right? Cool, so Ashi Garami it is. Glad you agree. Jump up. No. So, if I ask a whole bunch of and I have asked this question before in England, when they said, show me heel hook, so I gave them a little 3-question quiz, which they failed. So then I'm going to say, no, I'm not teaching you that, because you don't know that from right, so you can't borrow my car. If I ask most PTJ guys, show me your basic footlock, probably 9 out of 10 schools will go something like this. And I'll start yanking on the foot. So I disagree totally with that as a starting point. And one, if you look at all the old jiu-jitsu books, you're going to see that no one ever does that. And Hegan's rationale for it, and other guys like Riley Bodycomb, who I've done some training with in the States in July, they all say the same thing. And it's, if you're on top, if I'm here, if I grab a foot and fall backwards, I'm not guaranteeing that I've improved my position. It's not a guarantee. It's a 50-50. And worst case, you could do a shamrock and pull him onto the mount and then get punched and slapped and choked out. So why give up a good position? I'm on top. So why do that in the hope that I can put lock in? Now I'm not saying I can't do it from the top. I'm just saying grabbing the foot and falling backwards, which is how most people go for outside foot lock, that is not the ideal situation. I always liken it to, anyone know how to play blackjack? You're an Asian guy, you know. Right. So, if you split tens, you know what that means? See, proof. So, splitting tens would be a dumb idea, right? Because it's not a sure thing, but it's a pretty good thing. So the split tens would be dumb. So I always think of it like that. Like if I grab the foot and fall back, I'm splitting 10. Up here, I'm winning. I'm on top, right? So this is not a great way. So the first drill, I'm going to give you 4 drills before we start. The first drill is never from the top. It's, I'm on the bottom, Darren stands up, stand over top of me. I'm in a bad position. If I just grab his foot like that with leg control, I've improved my position. Because if he comes down to mount me now, mount on top, he can't mount because he can't get that knee on the ground. I can move away, make space, and get the footlock position. So stand up again. So just doing that, I've improved. Then I improved it a whole lot more. Okay? So you can see there's no, like it's very difficult for you to argue that I have not improved my position now over that. Whereas when I'm on top, if I grabbed it and fell back, that's questionable as to whether I've improved my position. So I just want you to get on board with the logic of why we're starting Ashi Garami from the bottom position, not from the top position. You with me on that so far? Cool. Because I mean, things like that are important to me. Like, let's get our thinking right first before we embark down a road. You know, otherwise we're just doing random things. Drill number 1, Ashi to Ashi, standing. I go leg control all the way through. I pump my shoulders up, left knee through, right foot round the outside. And back down. And then the other leg, and back down. Pump right up high, and foot on his hip, and connect my knee to my shin. So I'm entangling the leg. That's Ashi Garami, okay? So we're going to start with that. One lay down, head face to the front. He's winning, you've got one each, it's 50-50, right? So I just want you to understand that. So we're going to start with my feet inside. And then I can grab his foot and punch my leg through. Okay, so whoever's feet inside, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually grab both legs, and I'm going to start punching my right leg under, and we're going to end up, look where I am. Ashi Garami. If we were in space, it would look identical to what we just did. Right, so it's Ashi to Ashi seated. Now watch here. Right foot off, left leg out, rotate, right knee in, left leg on. Left leg off, right leg out, rotate, and it seems obvious, but people do it the wrong way. They rotate, then can't get the leg out. They do all kinds of weird stuff. Okay, so we're going to do it. You follow my instructions. Put it at least 4 times, and then I'll cut you loose, and you can do it by yourself. Foot off, leg out, rotate in, leg in, foot on. Now, it seems like I'm doing the drill, like the drill is mostly for me, but it's also for Darren. I don't want you just to sit there looking at me like that, because that's freaking me out, and it looks kind of weird. But I know what I really mean is, I want you to kind of go with the flow a bit that side, because one of the reasons people get injured badly, especially with heel hooks, is not going in the right direction, meaning ignoring the forces. You know, like they're sitting there watching their leg get spun out of joint and they're looking at it happen. But don't do that. Okay, so as I do this, see he's just moving with it, and right away, that is way less drama on Darren's body than him just sitting there. I know it sounds like a little point, but if you ask me, of all the people, I don't know how many knee reconstructions I've seen over the years, 60? More than 50 for sure. I think, I have not done the math and haven't kept the record, but I would say it's way more than half is not the fault of the person doing the heel hook. It's the fault of the other person moving like a crazy idiot in the wrong direction. So, you know, you would halve the leg lock injuries or even more just by going with the flow and not sitting there, or not being crazy. Just don't be insane. Just look at it, you know, instead of and you choose the wrong angle. Okay, so the part of this drill is important, doesn't look like much, is that he starts to go with the flow there. All right, and that's going to place less strain on the system. The system being his knee ligaments. All right, let's go. So,